Running a legal practice is getting harder and harder and harder to show a profit. Not only running a business, but running the operations, recruiting staff, doing the marketing, feeding enough work into the system. So you create this big machine, and then all of a sudden you've got to now feed the machine with a great amount of workload. Over the last 15, 20 years that I've been business coaching, I've identified for lawyers and professional practices some different ideas about how to drive the operations strategy in their business. So here's a tool behind me which I'd commend to you. And we start with looking at what is our operations strategy for the business. Well, that depends a lot to do with our customer segments that we might have. So in this particular business, what I'm suggesting and what I'd commend to you is looking at developing your sustainable competitive advantage. Now that will feed your marketing strategy, but it depends on who your customers are. Because if you're marketing to one customer segment and you're using one message, you may not be attracting another customer segment. So for example, some customer segments could be landlords. Now, what they're interested in could be how you can write really killer clauses into their leases to protect the landlord. Another idea could be that you can write commercial leases that work to their advantage, so when the person leaves, they have to refit the business. Now, how does the landlord who's never owned property before know that you're the law firm that can actually create these lease clauses that they've never thought about? Because they're not supposed to think about it. A client who's not a lawyer is not supposed to know the lease clauses. That's your job. But how do you tell them that you've got these skills? So landlords are looking for certain things, and you've got skills and experience that you can help landlords with it. But you've also got experience around estate planning. Now, some ideas around what you can do for estate planning might be that you can work with blended families. So that might be one set of benefits that you can do. You could be targeting people that are about to get married and might be concerned about a premarital agreement of some kind. So there's probably lots of different ideas and strategies that you've got around estate planning that you could work with different market segments. And you might also come down here with someone that's doing wills. Someone might need to plan for their parents. It could be that they've just got married. It could be that they are now just got divorced and they need to revise their wills. And you could protect them from asset attack. You could protect them from spouses coming back and asking for more than what they're entitled to. So there's loads of different market segments. Now, depending on your market segment, so the client base you're targeting, landlords is one target segment, estate planning is another client group, people that want wills are another client group. All of the different groups that are your client base need to have a different marketing strategy. It's not going to be the same things that you write to someone who's doing estate planning, may not be landlords. They may not be interested in creating a will. They may have a will. So your marketing strategy needs to be different to each target segment that you're actually going for. So you need to identify what is your competitive advantage, what is your sustainable competitive advantage, what is your sweet spot. Why should someone choose you instead of going to another law practice? So your sustainable competitive advantage will drive your marketing strategy. And your marketing strategy is what drives your operations strategy. Now, when you're looking at your operations strategies, now we come down here to your innovation strategy. What new ideas are you going to come up with in the next 12 months to communicate to your clients to say that they shouldn't just have one product or service from you, from your law firm, but how can they get more products and services from you? If you want to be a professional, let's say that you've got a client that's just done, they may have just got married or they may have divorced recently, and out of the property settlement they've now bought themselves a new house, and you've done perhaps the conveyancing or the property settlement on it. And when they walk away, you've done the business and they're happy, you're happy. But a truly professional person would also turn around and say, well, hang on, before you go, you've just got divorced and you may have a spouse that may come back and say, well, I want part of those assets. So part of the asset protection is you need to consider the structure that they're buying the property in. You may need to do some asset planning, and also their spouse, their new spouse, may not be a client. So you could go in there and offer them a will. So there's loads of things that you could cross-sell. But how do you target getting the clients in the first place if you don't have some sort of sustainable competitive advantage of what separates you from your competitors? Because a person that's about to choose a lawyer that they've never dealt with before is going around looking at that lawyer there, and that lawyer over there. And if you don't have any marketing material supporting your point of difference, why should they consider you? So these different ideas are now supported in your operations strategy by your level of innovation. So what innovations are you going to come up with over the next 12 months? You also need to support your operations strategy with what's your human resources strategy. What staff are you going to have? What level of experience are they going to have? What training will they need? Where will their career progression go to? What sort of performance appraisals will you need to do? What sort of KPIs will you need to put? What is your human resources strategy going to be for your firm for the next 12 months? Now we need to look at your financial strategy. Some family law clients have got massive amounts of money in outstanding debtors because they don't get a payment until the case actually settles. So how do you manage that with a growing firm when you might have $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in turnover outstanding to clients? Now, yes, they'll pay you, but how do you survive the rest of the year whilst you're waiting for these people to settle their accounts and have a settlement? Well, that comes down to what is your financial strategy? What other work are you going to be chasing? So this then can lead into your marketing strategy. So there's loads of things that you need to be thinking about when you're running a business. This in turn depends on the type of clients that you're targeting. So this is a model that I use with my clients, and it's identifying that your sustainable competitive advantage feeds into your marketing strategy, which feeds into your operations or strategy, but that then is supported by an innovation strategy of what you're going to be achieving through the next 12 months, your human resources strategy of what sort of staffing do you have, and one of the things that's a point worth knowing is, or remembering, don't recruit staff until your marketing strategy is driving the work into your practice. That's a really dangerous thing to do. Get the work waiting to be done. Have the clients knocking on your door saying, can you do this, can you do that, can you provide these services, before going and recruiting any staff. So this is a strategy that I use with my clients, and I hope that you will find value in it for your business.